Welcome back to the channel, folks. Today we're going to be looking at a Schecter, the Synyster Gates signature. This is the custom. It has the set neck. I'm going to be doing a string change and just polish the frets, general cleanup. These Schecters are a lot like the PRS SEs as far as usually when you buy them, they're set up right. You don't never have to do nothing much to them, just very minor adjustments. This one has the Seymour Duncan Invaders, very hot pickup. I mean, this is a metal guitar straight up. I mean, it's not a jazz guitar, it ain't a country guitar. This is a metal, a metal guitar. It has the split on it where you can split the coils. And actually, I'm not a fan of that because it usually makes them sound tinny and weak. I don't like the tone of them, but actually these pickups do sound, pretty decent when you split them. Jumbo frets, Floyd rose, really, really cool guitar. This, really, really pretty cool. It's got a loose input jack. We need to fix that. We might do that first, and just like I say, we're going to change strings but I've checked everything. It's straight. I mean, the action's good. The relief in the neck is good. I mean, the intonation's dead on. There's nothing other than the strings are rusty and it's pretty dirty. But other than that, it's right. And that's the way with most of the Schecters. I don't know why they don't get more recognition than they do, because they're really a great guitar. So anyway, I'm going to get to taking this lock nut, these blocks loose on the nut, and get these strings changed out. And like I said, we don't really have to do a whole lot of adjustment on anything. What I do on this Floyd, this one, the only adjustment it's going to need really is it's setting down just a little bit too low, and I use this block just to put underneath it right in here, and that sets it where it needs to be. So anyway, I'm gonna get the strings off this thing and we'll get it cleaned up. Getting these pickups covered up really well before I do this frets. If you want to booger up a good set of pickups, then just let all that steel wool get in there, and you're done. I mean, it'll really mess them up. So I take a lot of time to make sure I get these things really, really covered up really well. And then clean up real good around them before you take the tape off, because if it's still around them, all this is just dust and dirt. But that's, and I know a lot of people tape off the whole fretboard. I just use 2 pieces of tape and just keep moving them as I go. Saves a little on tape. There's no point in taping up the whole fretboard just to polish the frets. And I use steel wool. I've tried the fret eraser things and some of this other stuff, and if that works for you, great. To me, steel wool, that's just, I guess I've done it so long. Before there was any of that other stuff, and I just stick with it. So I'll get the polishing on these, get that done, get this fretboard cleaned up. All right, that's got Got our frets polished up. That looks a whole lot better. Got a lot of dirt. I hope this is all in the camera. For the most part. Try to clean this. This guitar's never been played much at all. I mean, it's really in good shape. It needs a few little cosmetic things, but generally, it's in really great shape. Try not to pay no attention to my squeaky chair. Now, some of that is residue from cleaning the frets, but a lot of that's just pure dirt, grime. But this thing's got some pretty neat inlays on it. Got the death bat inlay at the 12th fret. Nice looking fretboard, and I'm not sure, I hadn't looked at the specs on these things that much as far as if it's a rosewood or whatever, ebony or whatever fretboard. It's awfully dark. It does have a little bit of a light place in the grain right on the bottom. But the frets on this thing, the ends and everything are just great. And that's the way these come. I've never had one that was, never had a Schecter in here that had bad frets. Like I say, I don't know why Schecter don't get more attention from people than what they do. Because they're really a fine guitar. As far as the upper price range goes, I mean, upper price range, I mean, you know, $700-800 up. Now these come in different kind of setups. This one is one of the older ones. I'm not really sure on the year. It's got the Seymour Duncans. I think the newer ones actually have a Synyster Gates branded pickup. They sound real similar. And then they have the sustain pickup with, I think, another little mini toggle switch or something there. So, let's see what I got here. What flavor I'm going to use on this. But these are fine instruments in my opinion. And I know a lot of people ain't crazy about signature model guitars. I'm not a great big fan of them myself. I am a Synyster Gates fan. I think he's one of the best guitar players to come along in that genre of music in a long time. But I've had the Zach Myers PRSSE. Didn't really matter to me if it had his name on it or not. I got the Stevie Ray Vaughan Strat from China. But I'm a big fan of Stevie Ray Vaughan, so but it don't really matter to me if it's got anybody's name on it or not. I can't play like they can, so it ain't gonna matter if a guitar looks like theirs or not. Come on now. If you've been keeping up, like my last video with the Strat that had the piece broke out around the 2-point trim, I boxed everything up and set it over in the corner because I didn't want to deal with it right now. It just aggravated me so much to have that happen after I knew better. I guess I'm more mad at myself for using those big old inserts for the bridge, because I actually knew better when I done it, you know. So it kind of like, I think I'm more mad at myself for doing it, but I'm not even gonna do nothing with it right now. I'm just gonna, you know, I'm just gonna, I'll fix it, but I'm not gonna fix it right now because I don't have to. It's my guitar. I can fix it when I want to. Um, it was frustrating to have that happen, and you know, like I said, if you're thinking about putting one of those Wilkinson VS50 2-point trims on a Strat, don't use the inserts they send with you, or you'll have your wood will blow out. All right. Try not to pay no attention to my squeaking chair. I know that's annoying, but it is what it is. Still working on my shop a little bit out there, trying to get it going, but here lately I've been thinking I need to have a YouTube home improvement channel instead of a guitar channel, because it seems like I do more home improvement than I do guitar work anymore. Maybe I'm starting to get caught up on some of this stuff. Now that's an improvement. That looks sharp. Got the death bat all shined up there. That's going to make it play better. Okay. What you don't want to do when you got these strings out is flip this thing over and lose these little locks that are inside that lock your strings. You'll only do that one time, and then you won't do it again. All right, I'm gonna polish this body up, at least the top of it, and the headstock and all before I put the strings on it, and we'll finish her up. All right, maybe that thing ain't too shaky. If you've seen what I used to hold that camera, you'd get a laugh out of it. Maybe I'll show it one day. Try to show you on these strings. You know, you just cut your ball end off, back past where it's wound. Make sure you get it down in there really good. And then you tighten this screw till it strips out. Or at least you hope it don't. Okay, and then I'll run it up through there. Maybe. Okay. But that's how you do these. I've seen people jam strings in there with a ball in and everything else. I mean, I've seen it all. Some people, you know, they'll use the ball end at the other end and cut this end off down here, but they'll run this through and have this at the tuner. I don't really prefer that. So anyway, that's all there is to that. All right, that's got our strings back on. You know, got all our ends cut. You know, like I said a while ago, a lot of people will run them through the tuner and leave that part at the tuner. That's whatever they want to do. There's not a right and wrong way. If that's the way you want to do it, then that's okay. There's a little too much of stuff on YouTube and Facebook groups and whatnot anymore, it seems that if somebody don't do something exactly the way you do it, they're wrong. And that's not necessarily so. Everybody has a different way. Just like I prefer to use steel wool to polish the frets, that's not wrong. If you use a fret eraser, you use whatever, that's not wrong. That's what you prefer and then what I prefer. So just because somebody does it different. Okay, anyway, this is the part where a lot of people get frustrated trying to restring a Floyd rose. I mean, they're not that complicated. You know, talking about preferences, I actually prefer a Kaler bridge over a Floyd, but that's just my preference. But stretching these strings is the main, that's the main thing, because if you don't stretch these strings out really good, you're going to fight this thing. You're going to fight it. So you're really going to have to stretch and stretch these strings and to ever get, to get it. And you got a bigger chance as far as your string popping out, especially your E and your B, possibly your G, but especially, they're small, they're not wound, so it's easier for them to pop out. And, this is a regular Floyd, but like a Floyd Rose Special isn't as bad. But some of these licensed Floyd Rose, if you buy a Floyd Rose off AliExpress for $13, you're done. But you want to get these as tight as possible, but not so tight that you strip them out, because you really have problems then. So if you buy a real low quality Floyd or a Floyd copy, you're going to have issues right here all the time. So, and then you want your fine tuners, if you're just starting out, you want those set about midways. You want them screwed in about halfway to start your setup. But the main thing, like right now, I'm going to have to spend a lot of time just stretching these strings, tuning up, stretching. And, I may actually let it set overnight and do the same thing in the morning and stretch them again before I put the lock nut on. But real quick, before, I'm not even going to fool with any more of that with the strings. I think I've went over that. We kind of got that figured out. Let's jump on it right quick and see if we can't see about this input or output jack really quick, because it's loose. And of course, I don't think y'all can see anything I'm doing. All right. We'll see what's under here. We know we got a push-pull pot, 3-way switch. We'll see what kind of size pots they use in these things. I've never had the back off this thing, so we're gonna see. I don't necessarily have to take this off because it's got the 2 screws. I may take them off, but I've just got curious as to what the electronics look like in this thing. So trying to get that popped out with something. There we go. Probably never been off. It almost looks like it still has the plastic over it, but I guess not. But yeah, it does. Sure does. Still has the plastic on it. We're peeling the plastic off. There's the some bonus right there. We got to peel plastic off of something. All right. Okay. And I don't know. I took the back plate off. Now I don't know where I put it. Well, Get it up here in the shot. We got one full-size pot. The volume pot's full size. The push-pull has got a small disc, or whatever you want to call it, wiper in there. And then we got a good-looking three-way switch, an actual good quality-looking three-way switch. So that's what's in there. But we'll tighten this jack up if I can find a screwdriver that'll fit. Some of the screws in this thing could use some paint. They've kind of got just moisture or whatever kind of got them. And what I just usually use is a Sharpie paint pen, like a black Sharpie paint pen, and just lay them and let them dry and stick them back on. Usually what I use. I'm not going to worry about that right now. Might do that later. And of course I'm doing all this where you can't see it. One thing, I used good long screws in here. They wasn't just those little short. Well, they didn't give you no slack on wire. Maybe come around that pot. Wow. Certainly didn't give you any. They didn't give no extra. I just want to make sure that don't turn inside there. Well, they didn't even give you hardly room to. I guess you could take this zip tie loose. It may be wrapped up around, in that zip tie if we had to get the jack out. But the jack works fine. It was just loose. So that's no problem. And if you want to know more about the Floyds, setting the Floyds up, there's some good videos out there. Some guys that got real close-up cameras and really go into detail on setting up a Floyd. But they're more intimidating, I think. Just learning, if you take time to learn what everything is, what your adjusters, your fine tuners, stuff like that. Once you learn what everything is and what it does, they're not bad at all. They're not bad at all. So, okay. All right. I'll have to stick this cover back on. I need to find the other back cover. But anyway, that's just a little look at a Schecter Synyster Gates. And I'm not sure. I guess I don't know what model it is, whatever. Let's see if we can get a picture of this headstock. Crafted in South Korea. And I'm just guessing it's probably a 09, I guess. Is possible. What that, or an 11. I guess it's a 09, 11th month of 09. I'm not sure how their deal works. Got good Grover tuners on them, like the black chrome or whatever type looking Grover tuners. Had stole BC Rich's headstock. Got the little skull deal up here on the end. Diamond Series, Schecter Diamond Series, okay. So anyway, I hope that was a little informative. Whatever, look at this guitar. Man, it's heavy, but it's a bad boy. It's mahogany body. Like I say, it ain't if you want to play Merle Haggard or whatever, this ain't the guitar to play for you. It's a metal guitar. So, folks, until the next time, we'll get into something else. I'm still working on this parts guitar. I'm gonna try to get some stuff done on it. So, I appreciate you guys subscribing. Appreciate the comments and thumbs up. And if this video was good, give me a thumbs up. If it was terrible, give me a thumbs down. If you hadn't subscribed and you think you might learn something here or enjoy watching it, please subscribe. So until the next time, see you.